Good afternoon, everybody. Happy to see you here, and thank you so much for braving the inclement weather and being here with us. We really appreciate that. Welcome to our Shotsukihoyo service. On this occasion, we remember family members and friends whose anniversary of their passing is in the month of February. Today, we have the opportunity to express our gratitude and to keep our loved ones in our hearts and minds. Today's service will be officiated by our supervising minister, Reverend Dennis Fujimoto from the Buddhist Temple of Alameda. We will start the service with quiet meditation. Sensei will strike the bell to begin and end the meditation. Sensei.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Please stand for our opening gatha. It will be in the white book. We Are One, that's on page 150. And remain standing for the reading of the threefold refuge. Please join me with the threefold refuge on page 10 of the purple book. Difficult is it to receive a human form? Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Dharma of the Buddha? Now we hear it. If we do not cross over to the truth in the present life, then what life shall we cross over? Let us with sincerity and true reverence take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we together with all sentient beings awaken to the great way of enlightenment and to the unsurpassed intent of the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we together with all sentient beings enter the storehouse of the Dharma, become like this devotion. I take refuge in the Sangha. May together with all sentient beings become leaders in true accord in the harmony of all things. The peerless, profound, and wondrous Dharma is where to encounter, even in many hundreds and thousands of kalpas. Now we are privileged to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
The names of the Shotsukihoyo honorees for this month will not be read. Family members and friends of observing this service, please come forward to Ashoko during the reading of the names. Virgil Bob Crossler. Masahiko Fujihara. Kushino Fuji. Alice Masai Hamamoto. Moto Imoto. Kichijiro Ito. Sugisaburo Ito. Frank S. Karahara. Kanemi Uno. Isaburo Kobayashi. Some Ubuke. George Masami Miyano. Kinbe Okazaki. Elaine Shigeko Otani. Iwakichi Sumigawa. Teru Sujihara. Kazuichi Wakayama. Haruko Suramoto. Kyo Yamamoto. Yoshinobu Ito. Tomie Wakayama. Robert Otani. George Kim. Jitaro Yamamoto. Amy Wada Nichols. Asumi Wada. Hien Tu Wu. Mio Masaoka. Hisako Sujihara. Masao Matsumoto. Mac Masanobu Tabata. Aiko Baba. Haruko Yamamoto. Yonechi Matsumoto. Roy Morikawa. Mary Karahara. Yoshio Otani. Thank you. Sensei will now offer San Bujo. That will be found on page 24 of the Purple Book. This will be followed by a Hyo Byakumon dedication and sutra chanting. Today's sutra will be the first half of Amida Kyo, page 103. So in the Purple Book, page 24, and then page 103.
Today, on the occasion of the Shotsuki service for the month of February, members of our temple families have reverently come before Amida Buddha in memory of their beloved. With the deepest reverence and thankfulness for the all-embracing wisdom and compassion of Amida, we reaffirm the three homages. Namo Butsu, Namo Ho, Namo So. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Please repeat the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. 節阿弥陀経。行勢が南無日時仏在社霊国地中期後六本四大ビクシュ千人150人区大勢大あらか修正知識長老者利用マカモケネマカカショマカカセネマカクチラリハタシュリハンダガナンダアナンダラゴラキョモンマダインズルアララカルラマニマカコインナアクラアヌルラノゼト初代弟子上昇菩薩マカザコンジュシリオオジアイタ菩薩ケンダガ大菩薩上昇人菩薩ヨヨゼト初代菩薩牛釈大カリント無料商店大祝日仏語長老者利法重世裁法果樹万毒仏道無世界上圧極楽五老仏道阿弥陀根源在説法者利法非道学校行為極楽五国修上無修苦単樹小楽五行極楽者利法極楽極老七十何十七十ナモ七十五十大勢四方修相異名税公非国の圧極楽者利法極楽極道無執法知悪六寸十万五十地大順に本社富士四辺海道黄金ルリありご上上老各役位金剛ルリあり社交釈衆名の二言直視自中連下大名者利小式小公大式大公釈式釈公逆式逆公微妙高血者利法極楽極道上重量税空毒小言無者利法異語国道上差天楽黄金一時昼夜六時二万だらけ五国修上上位昇丹百位英国上修行系空用他法十万六仏即位知識伝統本国本知識表業者利法極楽国土上重尿税空毒将軍物識者利法異国上修十奇妙雑識市長学校空弱法無者利他両品が無名市長聖書宗長長夜六時水和慶音高音延長合根合力七五大分八正道分行政情報合同修正本税恩に外出念仏念法念祖者利法の ついし長実前在表彰書勝利者大部極道無三幕衆大法部極道小無三幕道信用馬教充実霊障修正大勢阿弥陀仏力量大本千流蓮華少佐シャリモリム極道二夫水道小法五十九法蘭語水人妙音二妙百千十学老寺空山音声音者大事念上念仏念法念相知心シャリホ極道長寿如世空六章
Today's Dharma message will be given by Reverend Fujimoto.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah.
Nice to be back here. So today is our very important Shotsuki service for the month of February. Shotsuki service is always a very meaningful service as we are able to remember the important people who have influenced our lives. We chant sutras, we offer incense, we surround ourselves with temple friends, and utilize comforting ritual to direct our attention and our thoughts to those who have touched our lives so deeply. I'd like to share a wasan with you. Please join me in Gassho. Beings of light, 3,600,000 billion in number, shine brilliantly from within each flower. There's no place they do not reach. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. This is one of my favorite wasan from Shinran, talking about beams of light from each entity, from each of us, outwards towards everyone in our circle. It's this light coming from every single person. So each one of you shines with this light. And it's also the light that comes from the infinite, comes from Amida towards every person, and then reflected outwards towards those people in our circles, our friends, our family, people dear to us. So towards us, and then outwards from us. So as Shin Buddhists, this is our view, this is our perspective of life. Light touching us from the infinite, the light of Amida coming this way, and then light touching us and then reflecting outward. Amida and the Pure Land are functions of life. Not a dream or a hope for something better, not a heaven to go to when we die. This is a description of life that we are living right now. In the English language, sometimes we hear the words small world when something coincidence happens or you happen to meet somebody's relatives somewhere else and you say small world, or the thought of serendipity. And we hear these words sometimes. In the temple, we talk more about causes and conditions, infinite causes and conditions coming together, or go in. Go in means fortuitous encounters. Okay? And I think these terms, rather than small world or serendipity, have a sense of connection beyond the self. When we say small world, serendipity, it kind of sounds like something happening to me, something happening to us, and then we know it's small world, right? So it's still in this little circle. But when we say causes and conditions, infinite causes and conditions, it's a recognizing more, this greater infinite universe that is somehow reaching and touching us. Right? So we come to these service, particularly Shotsuki service, and we honor those people on the list, the Shotsuki list, all their names, their light touches me. Right? They might be our family, they might be our friend's family. Right? Because grandma and grandpa were here. Mom and dad lived and met, and I'm able to be here. So we trace this back, we see all these connections, so many generations. If even one person is missing, we're not even here today. So we acknowledge this infinite connection to the people we might recognize. Mom and dad is easy. Grandma and grandpa might be easy. Beyond that, it's not that easy. Maybe the name is similar, but we don't recognize the face, right? It becomes a blur as they become one of the infinite. Right? Beams of light, 3,600,000 billion in number, shine brilliantly from within each flower. There's no place they do not reach. When I think of this, I think of the image of Indra's net. This is a very well-known story in the Buddhist circle, and Indra's net is made up of these jewels that are connected to each other, and each node of the net, there's a jewel. Each jewel is a different size, different color, different shape, but they shine the light of all the other jewels all around it. Okay? And so this is showing us how Amida's light touches each of us, and then again, the jewels reflect the light of others, and it becomes their own light that shines on these other jewels. I think of the image of going outside. Probably many of us have seen this. You walk in the garden, all of a sudden, it wasn't there yesterday, but maybe a spider web with drops of dew or drops of rain on there, little beads on the spider web, shining, right? And you look even more closely, and each bead of water is reflecting the light from the next bead of water, and it goes on and on, right? Very pretty. And another image that I've found and used. So all these, they're more like jewels, but these spheres that were shining, and it looks like they're dotted, but they're not dotted. These are the reflections of the other jewels all around it, surrounding it infinitely. Okay? I was thinking it might be nice to show it on the screen as I talk, but I thought, no, that's not the effect I really want. We should have an image of Indra's net in front of us and on the ceiling and on all four walls and on the ground. Then we would have a sense of Indra's net and us being in there, right? It's like, wow, right? And maybe in the future, some little nerd sensei is going to figure out how to do this. And I'll say, I thought of that 10 years ago, you know, whippersnapper, right? But they'll have that available to them, hopefully, maybe in the future. So each of these jewels shining the light of someone who has touched us. Okay? This jewel is Grandpa Fujimoto. He died, but his light still shines. Still, I received this light. Right? And so when we come to the Shotsuki service, we're acknowledging this. They've passed away, but we receive their light still, even today. So today I have a Shotsuki story to share with you, and this is from a number of years ago when I moved from Eastern Oregon and was called back to come to California. So I was at the Idaho, Oregon Buddhist Temple, and I was asked to move to Sacramento, Butsu. So Idaho, Oregon is a smaller temple, country temple, not so different from here, right? About 100 members, and a lot of them grew up farming in the area. And so coming from there, they asked me to go to Sacramento, and Sacramento is a big temple, right? Maybe 900 members or something. But like here, all the members don't come every service, right? A percentage, 20%, something like that. And it's the same in Sacramento. You know, they don't have a full house. It's just scattered people on a Sunday. But when you go funeral, then you get to meet all these people that are members, but they don't always come to the service. You know, just bazaar time or one time, or you know, they have their own quiet lives, but they're part of this community, the neighborhood. And when you have these services that you're able to, you know, hold for the families, that's when you get to meet them. You talk to them, and they tell you about mom or dad, and where they lived, where they moved from, what mom and dad did. You know, all the kids, now they've moved away, they live here and there now. And you hear all these stories, and they listen to my story, and we get to know them. Right? Same thing happens here, same in Alameda, Idaho, Oregon, Sacramento. Same thing happens. And this is what makes the life, the role of a minister so special, that you're invited into these times. So when I was in Sacramento, I was asked to do this service. There's a Mary Arita who had passed away. And so in January, okay? So the children wanted to schedule a service for her. I went to do the pillow service and met them and talked to them. It's difficult to coordinate a good time for everyone in the family. So January, right? So all the family had come for the holidays. They went back home. So now it's really hard for them to come back again. So they're trying to find a time when can we come back from our lives and come back to Sacramento to hold this service. And time went by as they're going back and forth trying to check. All of a sudden, it's 8 months later. Okay, I hadn't heard for a little while. Still, the family knew. Mom wanted to receive her Buddhist name, her Hoyo. So eventually, they called the temple office and they checked with my schedule. We scheduled a time that would be fitting. And so it was like her funeral service, but it's also maybe closer to the 1 year memorial, right? After 8 months. So finally, I was able to go, and they had the service at their home, in their living room. So not too many people. The children came, spouses came, maybe a grandchild or two. So there's like 7, 8 people in the living room sitting in front of the home, Obutsudan home altar. Okay? So I did the sutra chanting and presenting the Dharma name, Buddhist name. Hoyo, presentation of Buddhist name. Shotsukihoyo is hereby presented to Mrs. Mary Arita by the Sacramento Butsu. Shotsukihoyo may be translated to open the way. Mary has now become one with Amida and the reality that surrounds us all. In that oneness, she opens the way for us to the truths of existence and the depths of life. Our lives become deeper and more complete as we are caused to consider death, impermanence, and the interconnections that weave all of us together. Shotsukihoyo, to open the way. So, after I presented this, I told them what my perspective of the Buddhist name. Okay? And I told them the Buddhist name is not necessarily a description of the individual. All the different senseis have different ways to think of the Buddhist name. But for me, I'm describing Amida with the Hoyo. Okay? And when we lose someone, they pass away, but they direct our minds, our attention, through them to Amida. Okay? So this is the connection that we have, not just to think of mom or dad, grandma or grandpa, and grieve again or cry again, but through them they become our teachers, and our perspective grows and widens and deepens. We take in the infinite. Okay? So this, I'm explaining this to them, that this is what the Buddhist name means to me, and I hope open the way. She's opening the way for you to see these deeper truths of life. Okay. And so we had a very nice conversation, and after presenting the Hoyo and the Dharma talk, we're sitting there, Obutsudan, and they had the pictures of the family, mom and dad, grandma and grandpa on both sides, and probably they organized it, made it a little bit more presentable. Sensei's coming to the house, let's make it nice, right? And so they had all of these pictures showing and telling me the stories of how it was when they first came. Grandma did this, grandpa did this, and mom and dad. And so mom, Mary, was born in Fallon, Nevada. I had never met anyone, Nikkei, that was born, grew up in Fallon, Nevada, and they had a farm out there, and they grew cantaloupe, right? So hard to imagine, it's hard enough picking apples and pears and things. Cantaloupe was hard work for them in Nevada. So this is what the family did, the White Mary's family. Dad won 4 Purple Hearts touring Europe, in the military. Lost an eye during service. This was their dad. Okay. So they told me all about their family, and I was able to share a little bit about my family and coming from Idaho, Oregon. But my father had served at the Sacramento Butsu, and so I think I was college age at the time, so I wasn't there with the family. But they can remember the Fujimoto. Reverend Fujimoto was at the Butsu. Okay, and I told them about Charmin, my wife Charmin, who I met at Idaho, Oregon. And this was her temple that I moved up to from the Bay Area and went up there. And so they didn't have a sensei for a while, so they were happy that I decided to go there and become their minister. And we have separate stories of our meeting, but I won't share that story today. But in Charmin's family, her father and 2 brothers, 3 Satomori brothers. They farmed together, and there are a lot of Nikkei farmers up there, and they potatoes, onions, grain, wheat. This is their crops up there, and so they work together. And of this family, one sister, Elaine, Auntie Elaine, she got married and moved to Sacramento. Okay, so she's in Sacramento. And so when Charmin was young, she used to come with her mom and visit Auntie Elaine in Sacramento. So she had stories that she had told me, being with Auntie Elaine, she had cousins similar age, they played together, and they would walk to the grocery store and buy this and that, maybe holding a bread wagon with the little ones in the wagon or whatever, not that far from the Sacramento Zoo, so probably went there too. And so this is how maybe sometimes when they were able to visit for a week or two that they spent in that part of Sacramento. So Auntie Elaine was not Buddhist, but she lived there for many, many years. Elaine Sugiyama on Sheila Way. Okay, so this was where they went to visit Auntie Elaine. So before this service, Charmin had come to visit me when I moved from Eastern Oregon to Sacramento. I moved alone, okay? So Charmin still had to take care of her aunts and uncles, and so she stayed in Eastern Oregon area. And so she stayed taking care of the family, and I moved by myself to Sacramento. I didn't have a home. I stayed with some friends, used one bedroom, and could use their kitchen facilities and things, so kind of stayed like that. And when I first moved there, they thought, oh, since he's from a little temple, I'm not sure he can handle this. Let's be ready to help him, okay? And I'm determined I can do this. They're busy, right? They're very busy. Sometimes 2 funerals in a day, sometimes 3 in 2 days, and along with that, there's memorial service starting the week. And so, but I can show, I've done this before, not week after week after week, but I've done this before. So just make sure, don't confuse the names, right? Get ready with all the papers. Don't look at the next one until you finish this one. And then this is how I worked. And sometimes, 8, 10, 16-hour days, it's okay. I'm going to get this done. So that's kind of how I live. And I didn't have to worry about Charmin because she wasn't even there, right? So this is how the time went in Sacramento. And so she came to visit, and she would come not that often, maybe every 4 months or something. She would come for a couple of days, and we'd have some time together. So she came to the Butsuin office, and I had my papers laying around here and there, and one of them was for the service for Mary Arita. And Sharon just glanced at that, and I didn't know who it was at. She was asking, what's that one? But she recognized Sheila Way, the same street that her aunt lived on. Mary Arita lived on Sheila Way. So I told her that this service is coming up and I'm going to be going. And because of the address, she called her cousin. Did you know Mary Arita? I think she lived on your street. She goes, oh yeah, we know. Yeah. My mom and her, they went to Japan together. So really. They went to trips all over the United States together. So they were good friends. Charmin's aunt took her to her doctor's appointments, and they did this and that together. So just a couple houses down the street. And when they were younger, cousins played with the Arita family kids and running back and forth and up and down the block and doing things like this. So they knew very well. And so just amazing. So after sharing family stories with the Arita family, I told them about Charmin and how this happened to be. And they were so surprised, right? They were really. So they were, yeah. Let me find the right page. Yeah, so as I told the family, they were amazed, just as I was amazed, And so I was connected to this Arita family through Charmin, right? So Auntie Elaine Sugiyama, the Sugiyama cousins who lived a few houses away. So here at the temple, we call this causes and conditions coming together just perfectly to create any moment in our lives. Right? Causes and conditions, infinite causes and conditions are there working all the time. And this is what we are calling the light of Amida, touching us, reaching us. And so this is what this wasan is saying to me. Again, beams of light, 3,600,000 billion in number, shine brilliantly from within each flower. There's no place they do not reach. The light of Amida, touching you, touching me, touching Sharma, to her auntie, her cousins, touching this Arita family that I had never met or known. And then it makes us all connected. And the same thing happens to each of us when we come to service, particularly when we come to our Shotsuki service. The names are read. The Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, calls and awakens us to this interconnection of all things that make up our lives. Shotsuki service allows us to recognize the bodhisattvas, the people we lose are our teachers, our Buddhas, our bodhisattvas. So they step out from the infinite, touching us again, showing us their light again. And so we recognize this light and we thank them for having been a part of our lives. Okay? So this is what Shotsuki service is about. We receive their light. We receive the light of Amida and we pass it on to the person next to us, to the person in front of us. We pass it on. Whatever we do, we pass it on. Please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Namanda. Thank you.
Thank you, Sensei, for your message and letting us know that we are all jewels, all together as we travel the circle of life. Thank you, Sensei. Please stand for our closing gatha. It will be found in the purple book, Ondoku-san 1, on page 218. Are there any announcements? If not, oh, sorry.
Good afternoon. 2 Saturdays from now, the
the San Mateo Buddhist Temple is having their 28th Nimbutsu seminar titled Women Liberating Buddhism, and it will feature Dr. Paula Arai from the Institute of Buddhist Studies. It's going to take place on Saturday, February 15th from 9 a.m. to 1:30. They actually are having a continental breakfast that starts at 9 with the seminar starting at 9:30. They are trying to get people to register before the seminar, so if anybody's interested, I have information on that. And here at Enmanji, next Sunday is our Nirvana Day service. Please remember that's a morning service, not an afternoon service. And later this month on Sunday the 16th, we are having our general meeting at 11 o'clock, and that will be all virtual on Zoom. Thank you.
One other announcement. At the end of the month, we're having our BCA National Council meetings, and the conclusion of that is our Eitai-kyo service on March 2nd. And so that's usually the Shotsuki service here, but all the temples of BCA are encouraged to participate in the BCA Eitai-kyo service. And so there's would be a link provided that you can view this at home. Some temples are getting together and viewing them, in their hondo or their social hall and making an occasion of it. But however we do it, you can participate in this service at home. And Bay District is sponsoring the National Council meetings this year. So all the Bay District ministers have been working on the Eitai-kyo service. And during the chanting, today we did the Amida kyo. We get to do the whole Amida kyo, not just half. So it's something to look forward to. Yeah. So as that's going on, it's a little bit longer. So they're going to have slides of all our temples, Bay District temples only. But Enmanji has some photos that have been provided, and so Enmanji will be included. While we're doing the chanting, if you get lost in the chant, just look at the pictures. And so it'll be nice to enjoy, and the whole service should be nice. Just last year, Reverend Dennis Shinseki retired, and he's going to give the Dharma message. One of his retired ministers always asked to give the Dharma message at our National Council meeting service, and so lots of nice things will be happening. Bishop Harada will be officiating that service, and so something to look forward to. I think there'll be information provided, maybe in the newsletter coming towards you and all of this, so hopefully you can view that. And then we'll be the second Sunday next month. We'll have our Shotsuki service, and I'll be here to see you again. Okay? Thank you.
For the Eitai-kyo service, I have the link that I will send to those who have provided email addresses closer to the time of the service.
He's snuck in there.
I would just like to remind everyone that we are going to have the Chaman on March 23rd. And BWA will not do a raffle this year. They will do the bake sale. So if anybody would like to help us and donate some baked goods, we would appreciate it. That's for the Chaman on the 23rd.
Thank you, everybody. Any others? Yeah. If not, this concludes our February Shotsuki service. Our appreciation to Reverend Fujimoto for your Dharma message. Thank you to the February Toban for the flowers and offerings. Our appreciation to George Stau for setting up your Naijin and starting the service of the Konsho. And thank you, Dr. Ken Masuda, for playing the organ. light refreshments will be served in the hall after the service. If you haven't had a chance to do so and wish to, come up in Oshoko before leaving the Hondo. Thank you once again for being here. Thank you so much.